man, things are getting very exciting around here.
Now you finished all of your joinery on your timber frame and you've done your dry fitting and you're actually ready to get to the point of how I actually seal my beams from bugs, from termites, from the weather, because we know this building is going to stand outside for a couple of months as we're building it. So we'll show you today exactly of what we got going on, how our beams are finished, how everything is actually ready to be assembled and stand with the weather. This joint that comes is steel, not lumber. Right in a TC flow. Clear and you know that everything. So when you first start to disassemble your timber frame that you're putting together, there are so many like pieces here that it's imperative that you actually mark everything. Each joint that comes out, make sure that it's marked specifically to your map. And it's pretty much the same here, is we've got all our knee braces labeled out. We know that I've got them labeled out on this portion here because once you get in the field and you got 60 of these, they all have to fit in the exact spot that they were. This one is made to fit here only. So very important for you guys. If you're doing something small, it's much easier. This is only one section of a 4-section frame. So Jason and I actually put one giant frame together, and now we get to the point of finishing and being able to store the beams until they're able to actually be assembled up on the job site. And you can actually see these beams over here. So after we've worked everything, we've got a lot of numbers, we've got pencil marks, and we're using just rough sawn lumber right off the mill. You can actually see the blade cuts in this one here, which is what I like. We're looking to be rustic, and that's what we're trying to do. But after all of the work, after the banging, the drying, fitting your timbers, we actually run a sander. This has all been pre-sanded. So we just take a belt sander really quick, go over everything that's here. And that's just the first step of actually getting our beams ready to be protected and sealed. Now you can actually see this one here. Yeah, we left one for you here. These have all been sanded out. And this is something that we'll show you. We're just gonna run a quick sander over it. It's not gonna take this color off. This one might have been on top of the pile while it was drying, so it's a little darker. We're gonna show you a trick later on, how to get all these beams cleaned up, clear, and ready to go for your stain. So it's very, very important to protect everything. Now after you do, get your joinery apart. Each piece, as we're cutting, you can see here, this is still dry. We didn't wax it. Same as this one right here. As soon as the joint comes off, we use a product called Anchor Seal, which is basically a synthetic wax. And what that's doing is that's actually going to seal the entire end grain here to help the drying process slow down. You don't want this to dry too quickly, being a timber frame. You don't want to have cracks, you don't want to have anything, but you can see this stuff is going to come on and it's actually going to dry clear. Most important is to get the end grains here and here. That's what this is really protecting, because that's where most of the water is actually going to leach out of. So in any sense of the word, any timber framing you're doing, you need to seal every piece of your joinery, every pocket that we made. Now this stuff is very simple to know, like, hey, did I forget to put that on there? You can feel it later on. There's a little wax on it, and that's what's coating it. And actually we take our numbers, and I'm gonna seal that number right in there. So nothing's gonna go away. I know it's white. Here in an hour, that'll be taken care of. This is a very important step of getting your joinery. That's gonna last forever. And don't forget, this end grain. That's really the most important on all of your joints. So anything you've cut, anything you've routed, make sure you actually coat it with this. And it's not that big a deal. It's pretty simple, Jay.
It is simple. Some
It
people
is.
use different things too. I mean, they use latex paint, other things like that, but this seems to be the most logical.
It,
And the way it clears up too or dries
this is
quicker.
made
Yeah.
exactly for this.
Yeah.
Latex paint is really not. And I know a lot of guys will do that on their logs. As our logs come in, we actually anchor seal the logs as well. So it's continuously getting sealed. And we use the actual proper product for the job.
Well, and it lets us see the numbers too, right? So
And
any
it lets,
markings on there.
that's how we do it. So as we're prepping all of our beams on the mill, getting our joinery ready, we actually put a small quarter over route on this just so that you don't have a sharp edge to work with. Now this beam's probably been out, been dried for a few months, and it's rough. So we're just gonna take a real quick So we're not planing these beams. We're not actually cutting anything. You can still see the saw blades in here. And I'm not trying to sand this to get every one of these marks out. We're going to show you a product that we use prior to getting it stained that's going to clear up all of these beams. But each piece of wood is always unique to itself. So you're going to have a little bit of darker wood, lighter wood, knots, things like that. So, I mean, really quick, we just run, that's 120 sandpaper. We just run over the entire beam like that. And that's where we're at. And we actually left the worst one here for you so we could show you how the clarifier is actually going to work on this beam.
Oh, I think they're gonna like that.
They are. And here where we had a little bark issue here, since we're doing rustic, we're gonna just sand that over. I mean, very lightly. This isn't, you're not trying to get it, you're just trying to get all the extra hairs off. Probably the most sanding you'll have to do is if you run into a pencil line, because the clarifiers won't take the pencil line off. So as we go around, we try to get the pencil marks off. Now this has all actually happened from being on our forklift, maybe being wet, the tannins in the actual beam give this black mark. We don't really need to sand that out. The clarifier really did take a nice, take that out of there and get you ready to stain.
That was a nice surprise.
It is. So we'll get this beam sanded all four sides so it looks just like everyone else on the table. And we'll show you the next steps of what we got to do. Okay, as we pulled our joinery off and we had everything marked here, what I do is I actually just gonna take and we're gonna just clean up the rest of these edges so that it's ready to be assembled. We just have a small flap disc, nothing special, on a grinder. Works like a champ. I mean, that's it. That's all you need to clean up that pocket. Then you actually apply your wax onto this right here, and it's ready to go.
Easy.
Easy peasy. So Jason and I do not have a giant indoor shop, so we need to be pretty cognizant of what's happening with the weather for a couple of days, because at this point, we really don't want it to get wet. And we actually add an extra step in which this is up to you, whether you want to do it, whether you don't want to do it. What we do is on through all our knots, and maybe here I had a couple imperfection, let's say bug holes or things like that. We fill everything with epoxy right over the knots. And really all we're doing is actually sealing that knot in and getting ready for it to accept the stain. Now again, this is not necessary, doesn't have any structural difficulties with the beam. It's probably more of an aesthetic thing, and that's what we do. So we actually use a little bit of epoxy and clean up our stuff. So we're gonna actually sand this one more time, get everything ready, and we're gonna get ready to actually spray onto the bug protection and actually the clarifier and get ready to stain. So this process takes a couple days, so just be careful with the weather, especially if you're outside. And we're gonna be rushing to get this done.
We need the barn done.
We need the barn done. Okay, we're on the last leg of actually getting our timbers ready to be stained. We're trying to get everything cleaned and protected from all of the bugs. And I actually make my own. Now this is not an all natural solution. This is a chemical solution. So if you don't want to work with chemicals, you might want to try something else. But I know that this works. And what I actually do is we purchased this from our Woodridge brand timber oil company. And this is actually the clarifier. It's a brightener and a clarifier. So it's like citric acid. You're going to smell the citric as you actually smell this. And it's actually going to take all of our black marks away. And it's going to clean the beam and get the pH ready for it to be stained and for it to be finished. Now I just don't use this. I also put in 2 cups to a 5 gallons, because I'm always using 5-gallon solutions, is that I put Timbor Professional in. Now what Timbor does, Timbor is a fungicide and an insecticide. So anything with, this is red oak, so there's always a possibility bugs and termites do like it. If you actually spray this on for your beams, it's gonna kill everything that's in there. And it's actually, if there is some fungus, which is some of this black marks here, could be mold, could be fungus. This is gonna neutralize everything and get it ready to be stained. The good part about Timbor is if you apply it, we're gonna try to stain these tomorrow because you see we have a nice day, but if you apply the Timbor the day before and then you actually stain over it, if a bug ever touches, ever eats that piece of wood, he's dead. So he's not gonna get very far. And for the last ingredient that I use, this is actually Wisdom TC Flow. This is a strict insecticide. This is exactly what termite people use to prevent your house from getting termites. So any bug, let's say that has a heart, ants, termites, this is going to kill them. Not only kill them, it's going to kill anything. If there happens to be a, let's just say there's bugs inside your wood, they're going to touch that. They don't even need to eat it. If they just get that on their foot, get that on their body, that's it. It's going to take out all the bugs that are in this wood. So we're actually going to put this sealer across everything that we've got. So we're going to clean it. We're going to get rid of the fungicide. And then we're also going to have bug protection. Now, nowhere on the directions does this say that you could mix this all together. But it also doesn't say that you can't. So yes, the first time I did this, I asked Jay, I said, just get the camera when I mix this solution together, because I'm not sure if it's gonna explode or what. But every time that I've done this, it works out perfect. There hasn't been any problem at all. And it's real simple. This is the simplest solution about getting your beams prepped, is I just make a 5-gallon, and what do we call that, Jay? It's Dan's triple kill. This is my own formula that I use that actually will take care of your beams for you. So I really just hook it up into my paint sprayer. and we are going to actually soak these beams with it. Now the clarifier is not going to work immediately. Okay, we're going to soak this into here, and over the course of the evening, you'll see that actually everything will be clear, be clean. There might be some slight variations in color and wood, but you're going to see what that looks like. And realistically, guys, we saved this one over here, which is the worst. So I'm going to spray this on here, and then tomorrow morning before we get to staining, we'll show you how much this actually cleared up this beam. It's going to remove any of the black iron oxide stains that you have here and anything that you might use. So let's get it, let me get a good coat on here because this is a good one, Jay. Now I know people are saying, oh my God, you're spraying water on before I stain. These beams are dry. Garrett, probably with inside an hour, all of this will be dry again. And actually the wood-rich timber oil that we use, and we'll show you, is actually meant for green beams that have wood in it. Doesn't need to be completely dry. So, I mean, you see how simple that went on there? Right now, it's actually working on getting clarified. It's giving us bud protection. It's giving us fungicide. This way you frame, when you're outside, you're gonna be able to make sure that everything stays perfect for a long time. No bugs, no fungus, and then your house is ready to go.
Dan's triple kill.
Dan's triple kill.
Espresso up.
Espresso up, Jay. All right, it is the next morning after we got everything treated, sealed, and clean. And here's the beam that we had left right here. Now you still see this still has some darker marks on that. If you really wanted to get that out, when you spray that with the citric acid or the Dan's 3-kill solution, you could sit here and scrub it. Me? I like how the beams are all different, and it's actually going to look a little bit more antiqued. But if you come on over, you can kind of see how it brightened up all of the wood. Now, I don't want to say it took out every piece of the black. And like I said before, I'm not scrubbing these. I want these to look old. So right here, that's what we have going on, and we're about ready to stain. And we use wood-rich timber oil, Woodridge brand timber oil. And this is gonna actually seal everything so it's prepared to stay for the outside. But you can see right here, we left this one here. I'm gonna put a little stain on top of it first here so that you guys can see.
I bet it's gonna look good though.
I bet it is. Now, I don't normally do this. This is Jay's job, so hopefully I do this okay.
Don't get that all over your white t-shirt.
I know. Soon as this video goes off, you're back to it.
Fair enough.
So guys, here, how easy this stuff goes on. And we're leaving it on thick. We want it to soak in there as much as we can. Now we know we're gonna actually get another coat later on, but this is gonna protect our beams. So there you go. I mean, this thing that needs to now soak in. And you can, and I think this is from the roller, Jay.
I think that's roller pattern.
That's
there,
roller
Dan.
pattern going on. This has nothing to
There
do
you
with the
go.
beam. See this? Why I don't do this.
That's okay, I'll fix it.
You'll fix it. Roller pattern, Jay. Let's get more goo. Yep. You see how rich these beams look? And you know that everything is protected now from bugs, from mold, from termites.
It's the triple kill.
It's the triple kill. Now we've got some bad weather coming on, so Jay and I are gonna tag team, and yes, I'm gonna help today.
Whoa, whoa.
And we're gonna get all of this finished up so that we can get this away before the rain, because we are outside, guys.
Yes, we are.
We'll show you when everything's done before we stack them and what they look like. It is gloomy.
Looking a little dark.
Jay and I have been lucky all week about the weather being dry and cooperating with us. letting us put our frame together, and even getting everything prepped to be finished. Getting our clarifier on, our termicides on, taking care of all of the bugs and necessities and fungus. So look how the beams turned out. I mean, each one is uniquely beautiful to itself. Do you see any of those black chatter marks? Does anything look like it's not rustic? It is beautiful, beautiful stuff. So guys, I hope this helped you out to see how we prep our beams. And since we're running from the weather, in about an hour, we're going to have to pack these up. Now, I know they're wet, so I had Jay go into his place and get us a couple of his leotards so that we don't get any ruined on our beams.
Those are socks, Dan.
Those aren't socks. Those are leotards. That's how we get our beams prepped to stand out in the weather, because this frame is going to stand out in the weather for months. We'll finish it off again when we're done.
That's a good start.
See you guys.